Welcome back to the Gen 20 podcast. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Marina, and today we're talking about how your 20s do not define you. Defined. They do not define you. They don't define you.
They don't
Language
define
is a
you.
construct. But this is a topic that I really have a lot of thoughts about because I'm 32. And so I haven't been in my early 20s for a decade, which is crazy. And if I wish someone had told me this, that like everything I was doing when I was 22 was not going to take precedent for the rest of my life. You know?
Yeah. Because we talked in the very first episode of this season was called Your Early 20s Suck. And we talked about a lot of reasons that your early 20s suck. And I still stand by that. I think that they are a very difficult,
They're terrible.
challenging period of life. Yeah. And I think that as when you're in your early 20s, it can be really hard to like see 10, 20, 30 years into the future. And when we say that your early 20s don't define you, there's like almost hardly anything that you're going to do in that period of time that's actually going to define your life. And I hope that that is very reassuring to hear because you're going to be making big changes and big pivots throughout your 20s, throughout your
Yeah.
30s, your 40s, like your whole life. And I feel like a lot of us are really fed this idea of like, oh, you'll go to college, you'll get your degree, you'll enter your career, you'll be doing XYZ, make your way up the ladder. And I think by the time you reach your late 20s, you kind of realize that that's like a load of crap, honestly.
Yeah. Absolutely. I feel like when I was younger, I thought, oh, when you're 30 plus, you've got it all figured out. And like as long as I make it to 30, I'll be okay and I will
Mm,
have it all figured out. Spoiler alert. I am okay, but I do not have it all figured out. And
mm,
I was talking to my mom recently because I just turned 32 and that's the age she was when she had me. And I was like having a slightly existential crisis because she had at that time 2 kids and a house and a husband, and I have none of those things. And she said to me, Marina, when I was 32, I was so scared and I had nothing figured out. And honestly, at my current age, I won't say how old she is, but she's like, at my current age, I often feel like I don't have anything figured out. I was like, that's weirdly comforting, Mom. Thanks.
yeah.
And it's just a reminder that the things you do in your 20s are about exploration and figuring out who you want to be, not even who you are, but who you want to be. And
Mm,
so your actions help you get to where you need to go so you can become who you want to be, but they don't define you.
mm,
If you start a
yeah.
job at 22 fresh out of college in one industry, especially in this economy, that does not mean you're going to be in that industry forever. If
Mm,
Alan Rickman can start his acting career in his 40s after having a successful graphic design business career, we can do anything. If you don't know who Alan
yeah.
Rickman is, go home. I'm too
That's
old for
true.
you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's as you were saying that, it just made me think that like you are figuring stuff out, okay? Like you are figuring things out
Mhm.
as you're going along. The thing is that we probably did not realize in our early 20s, and if you're early in your early 20s, it feels like the world is only like 3 inches big, right? But
Mhm.
the reality of things is that you are always going to be figuring things out,
Yeah.
but there's
What a
always going to be new things to figure out.
what a gift
And
that life is offering us.
yeah, that's like as we get older, we have new and changing responsibilities and new and changing goals. But you are getting more skilled all the time. You are getting more confident all the time. You are getting more
Mhm.
brave all the time. And, you might not know what your life's going to look like in 5 years, but you can make decisions now that you're going to know what your life will look like tomorrow. Does it feel in alignment with what you want? And I think you might not be able to be there's this like whole big concept of things that I think about all the time. It's like I can't change things that are happening around me. I can't change other people's decisions. I can't change how they act. I can't change the outcome of things. But what I can change is what I believe, what I do, how I act, how I want my life to look, things I want to do, my
Mhm.
output. That's what I have control over. So that's what I focus on. I can't focus on things that I have no say in,
Right.
and it's
I
not
think
what it's about.
yeah, and if the 2020 era of the pandemic taught us anything, we really have no control. in the grand scheme of things. We just
Mhm.
have little bits of control. And so
Mhm.
on the things that we can make a difference in our lives, that's all we need to worry about.
Mhm.
We can't expend
Mhm.
energy on things we can't control.
Mhm.
I mean, easier said than done. I have raging anxiety issues, but
Yeah.
uh, that's it brings me comfort sometimes to remind myself like this isn't going to matter in 10 years. Whatever like
Mhm.
little work project I'm so worried about, it's not going to matter in even 1 year. So I can just do my
Yeah.
best, grow from it, ask myself questions if I feel like I'm not doing a good job and learn from it, or let it be enough as it exactly is and let it go.
Mhm. Yeah. The thing that matters is how you feel about what you're doing. And you kind of have to be your own PR person, okay? Like you
Mhm.
have to put your own spin on things. And if your early 20s are like a confusing period, which they very much are, you're going to get out of the sandbox, okay? And into the giant pond.
Yeah. I moved across the country 2.5 times when I was in my 20s. Like, I thought I was going to live in New York City forever. I did not thrive in New York. I love living in California. Like, if you had asked me at 22 what I wanted to be doing and where I wanted to be living, it would have been
Mm,
working in a publishing house in Manhattan. I'm
mhm.
doing the opposite of that, and I'm
Yeah.
happy. So there's like
Yeah.
the things we are figuring out are just stuff that we're figuring out.
Yeah. And I mean, just because that's not the dream that's the dream you had then and that's not what you want now, that doesn't mean it's defining you. Like it
Hmm.
doesn't define you in a way of like, oh, Marina's not doing that, so she failed. That's not true at all. Like,
Yeah. No, she just found a
uh,
new dream.
Marina found that she has a new skill set, writing coaching, that she is incredibly, incredibly good at. So
Thanks so
she
much.
pivoted from publishing to
Hmm.
writing coaching,
Because I
and her
realized
business is growing exponentially year over year.
year over year, and I
And she's
realized
thriving.
that my dream wasn't to work in publishing. My dream was to help other people tell their stories, which often looks like publishing their work.
Hmm.
They're adjacent, but they aren't the same.
Yeah, and you needed that experience to learn that.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest scam about growing and healing and all of the like positive outcome things is that that outcome might be positive, but getting there is really hard and it can be really painful.
Hmm.
It's not fun to feel uncertain or out of control, but just know that the choices you're making now won't define you forever. They're just helping you define the next 6 weeks, 6 months, the next year.
Right on. And I think that is a beautiful place to end season 4 of the Gen 20 podcast. And we hope you all have a lovely summer, winter, whenever you're listening to this. It's currently spring for us
Hmm.
now.
And thanks so much for listening. We're here for you. We love you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.